What's up, guys? Boy, Katie Comics, where I Katie talk about comics and comic related things, and now interview comic creators. First one here, Mr. Joseph P. Illidge. How are you doing today?
All right, how are you doing?
Doing just fine. We're gonna talk about some milestone stuff. My favorite
Okay,
thing in comics. That's what got me into comics. We'll swap. We'll just talk a little bit about that, and also
sure.
also want to talk a little bit about Spawn a little bit,
All
um,
right,
towards the end and stuff like that. So,
sounds good.
well, first thing I want to do. How was your day today? How are you doing?
Thank you for asking. Pretty good, pretty good. Kind of like even day, getting some work done with listening to some music.
Oh,
So no complaints. How about you?
doing just good. Got off work, reading some comics, was reading back up on, was watching some of your interviews actually. I watched your one with Black Comic Lords earlier today. That was really
Oh,
good.
okay.
I like them. They're really good. I like to listen to them.
They really are. What you all are doing is really great, and I really appreciate it. So it's really great to have this opportunity to talk to you about this stuff that we love so much.
Yes, absolutely. Like this just it gets sometimes if you have a hard day, this can sometimes get you through the day. Just a little escape from reality for like a little 10 to 12 minutes, and one issue
That's
of
a
a comic.
fact.
Hmm.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, but so we'll just get straight into it. I know you've done like a million interviews, but I just had just talk about it a little bit. We had to talk about Milestone Universe, Shadow Cabinet. As you can see, I got cover A. I got the Sean Gordon Murphy cover.
Oh man,
This one,
listen.
and then I got my favorite, Nick the Draper Ivy.
Oof,
This one is
oof.
amazing. Nick Draper Ivy is actually my favorite artist,
Uh,
just period in
well,
general.
listen, I mean, his static is amazing. And his cover was the first one that came in out of the three of them.
Yeah.
It was his that I saw first. And he would send me stages as he was doing it in Facebook DMs. And
Uh-huh.
I would just lose my mind just seeing him develop it. So when it all came together, I was just like, that's it.
It's so good. I follow him on social media. So he was like when he posted like a little sketch of this. This was what we are posting. And I was
Yep.
thinking like it's like that's a nonsense. Like that's Iron Butterfly. And then I couldn't tell that was Dharma at first because I didn't know what the
Right.
project was going to be because this is before you announced it at New York Comic Con. Uh
Yeah.
so I didn't know what it was, but I was like I was like literally rattling around my brain. They announced Shadow Cabinet. I was like, oh, and Anansi, him being a new addition to it because he's kind of on the mystical side and
That's
then
it.
bringing him into the fold. I was like, that is a great addition to the cast of Shadow Cabinet.
Yeah, we love him. I mean, I had so much. I didn't realize how much fun I was going to have writing him
Yeah,
until I actually
yeah,
started.
I
And
could
I was like,
definitely tell when in
you
that
know what?
train scene.
He's becoming one of my favorite dudes like immediately.
Yeah, no, he was really good. I grew up watching the Static Shock show. That's my first introduction to Static. I grew up
Yeah.
watching him. It was I think she was on Boomerang like back in the day. Growing up.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Mm.
wow, that cartoon, man. I mean, when we were working on the milestone stuff back in the 90s, like we knew Static was something special, but man, when he hit the cartoon, that was a whole other level, man.
Yeah, I can't even imagine for someone who was sitting there through the growing process, working on it, doing the writing, the coloring, the inking, the pencils for all of that, and just see that come to life on an animation and seeing like so many people interact with it and be inspired by it and people cosplaying it and like just everything that like spawned from it. I
It
just
is crazy. Like whatever con you go to, there's at least four people that are static.
out always when I
And
go.
when I was
Mhm.
at San Diego Comic Con, like this year, I feel like there were 10 statics,
Yeah.
right? And statics come in all shapes and sizes. And
Hmm.
that's part of, to me, what makes him amazing. Like, you don't even see that many Miles Moraleses, right?
Yes.
But it's like there's just such a variety of static that you know what I mean? That he's like part of the Mount
Uh-huh.
Rushmore of comic book characters. Like that's just a fact.
I just truly believe I truly believe this, and I'll stand on this in this statement. I truly believe he's the best teen superhero. People say Spider-Man. I would like to say Spider-Man in comics at least. He graduated from high school in like issue 28.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like he hasn't
he
been a teenager in a long
yeah, he
ass
hasn't been a
time.
teenager for so long. He's been in college. He's been paying bills. He's been doing so many things. So
That's
yeah,
it.
I mean in media from TV and movies, they perceive him as a teenager. So I could see how. But in terms of like at least comics and the comic book medium, I would say the best teenage superhero, at least for me personally, is Static, and he encapsulates that, especially for a young black teen.
Yeah,
Um,
he's special. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
he's my favorite fictional character because I can relate to him the most out of any character
Yeah.
out there. But yeah, that's how. That's kind of how I got into comics. But let me ask you about this. For yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, so issue one of
Mhm.
Milestone Universe Shadow Cabinet. I love the issue. I thought it was a
Thank you.
great start. I think you have a great voice for all these characters that you're writing, and I know that's having such. I know there'll be more characters coming on throughout the. We're going to see Blood Syndicate a little bit later. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But
Well, thank you
having,
so much. That's very kind of you.
you know,
Because it's not easy, right? It's
oh
a
yeah,
The Shadow Cabinet cast is big, and it's going to get even bigger
hmm
as we go and we go. But Rocket is one of my 10 favorite superheroes, period. And
uh-huh,
she's my favorite Milestone character. Like, much love to Static, but I think he's
yes,
gonna come like
no,
third, right? I
yeah.
think it's Rocket and then like DMZ from the old Blood Syndicate,
DMZ,
and
I love DMZ.
then DMZ is great, and
There's an
then
issue
Static.
from Blood Syndicate. It's like issue 18 or 19. It's a DMZ issue. DMZ, it follows DMZ. It's like completely
Yeah.
silent, basically. I
Yep.
like that issue a lot.
That's issue 18.
Issue
Yeah,
18, issue 18, yeah.
I
That should,
remember that. But yeah, so like because Rocket is my favorite and it's because she has such heart, I thought that she was the best character to kind of like narrate the beginning of this story, and as someone that everyone can come in through her eyes.
uh-huh.
And like Static we're gonna get into in issue two,
Yes, I see
and
that.
some things have changed,
Oh, I've
right?
definitely
Like
seen that
he's emotionally changed a little bit. And if you've seen the cover to number two, he's not wearing blue and yellow, he's wearing
in
black
black
and
and white.
white.
Yeah,
And he's
I
gone
heard,
back to
I
the
saw
X
you,
cap, right?
So, but yeah, listen. So I saw you talking about the Black Comic Lords, black and white, and before you even said, I was like, that's probably how he like views the world, black and white. And you said that that's how he probably perceives the world now. And we're probably gonna see because it's been 6 months since the whole Brainiac invasion, and you said a lot of things have happened in between this time that made most of the heroes quit. And I think we're gonna reveal that. I don't know if we reveal that next issue.
We will.
I want to
We,
ask that because you probably can't say anything. But
okay,
uh,
well, with him,
uh
we're gonna show you where he is and why he's there. And I think one of the things that I want to like say is just think about cumulative effect, right?
yes,
Like it's not this happens and this happens and this happens, but it's all of it, and you
yes,
put it
and it
together,
bears down.
and what does that do, right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of what we're gonna find out with him. There's a very important conversation coming with him in issue two, but it's interesting. Like I love him too. He's got a journey to go on before we get to the end of this story, as they all do. Like
Yes.
everyone in the Milestone universe has a journey to go on, and then when we get to the end, it will all make sense, and everyone will have earned it, and some things will change.
hmm So yeah.
Yeah,
Like I said, the Stack is my favorite character in Milestone. Favorite character, period. I love Rocket though. I love when you were on your interview with BJ Kicks on the Comics Dope podcast. I love that podcast.
yeah,
Um,
he's great.
yeah, he's great. He's amazing. And you were talking about with Rocket. You said went back to work on Milestone. There's a colleague. I forgot his name, but you'll probably remember.
Jason Medley.
Yes, because you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, yeah.
We have summed up Rocket in 10 words, and you said, "Soul of a poet, heart of a warrior." And that
Yes.
I was like, that is a hard line. That has stuck with me since you said it. And
Listen,
the way that I view Rock when I read Rocket now is a little bit different. And I think it just those 10 words was what he set out to do perfectly encapsulate that character in 10 words was perfect.
really nailed it, man. And listen, you and I are sitting here today, and we lost Nikki Giovanni.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
that's it, right? It's
mm,
like we're losing poets, right?
yeah.
And who's going to be the next wave? And so another reason that Rocket, her writing a letter to her mother is important, is because Rocket wants to be a writer.
hmm
In her heart,
Yeah.
she is, right? So
hmm
like she's telling the story and chronicling the change of this world and the change in her. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like when he said that, that really just like that's who she is.
Yeah.
And so that's how I approach her. And then the heart of a warrior is like she will never back down.
Uh-huh.
She has such amazing courage, right? And that's part of the reason why, like Hardware kind of
Yeah.
came out of hiding to
Uh-huh.
help her. and they've got like this weird alliance, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you see, like when he's getting up in her face, she's not backing down.
Mm-hmm.
And then she checks him, right?
Uh-huh.
She's like, yeah, you got a lot of talk about Icon, but I don't see you out there doing what I'm doing. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So she doesn't take it from no one. She's tough stuff.
No, she's definitely a great character that keeps coming back. Like that's what the one thing I did like about the Icon series from the 90s. She was the if the book's called Icon, but it's Rocket's story.
Bingo.
Yes.
100%. 100%. That's her story.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Rocket it's told through the eyes of Rocket. A lot of the times, the thought bubbles or something is really Rockets, or like the talking points is really Rockets and what she's going through, and she's talking about Icon.
Yeah.
And uh, I love Icon too. One of the characters. I love all the characters, but yes,
Yeah, I mean, listen,
yeah,
they're all great. It's so hard to pick favorites sometimes.
uh-huh,
Shadow Cabinet turned out to be my favorite book of the
yes.
old run.
Oh,
So
really? Yeah.
being able to write that now was just really a joy. And the funny thing is, the issue 12 in the way back, that's actually the first published comic book I
hmm
wrote. I wrote the old issue 12.
I
So it's
read
kind
that.
of wild,
I've
like
read that recently. Yeah, I read that recently.
that's wild, right? It's like it's
Yeah.
so funny. Like in a lot of ways, I cringe, but in a lot of ways, I'm like, listen. But Milestone was such a great place that for an issue, they gave me
Yeah.
an opportunity to write, so I could learn from that. Like Dwayne McDuffie, one of the founders,
Late great.
one of the best editors and writers that comic books have ever seen.
Hmm.
He said something to me that I never forgot. He's like, sometimes you have to fail on the page.
Hmm.
Like you won't see how you can be better until it's printed. And then you're like, So
Yeah.
next time you can say, okay, I can up my game the next time. But sometimes you got to see it that way to see the cracks and see the flaws. And I was like, okay, I hear you.
Yes. So yeah, having one of your first published issues at Milestone on Shadow Cabinet and coming back to Shadow Cabinet to write it, that's got to be a full circle moment. That's just I.
I tell you, like, I couldn't have seen it coming,
Hmm.
and I'm just so thrilled to do it. And it's good to be back home at
Hmm.
Milestone. Like, I'm in comics because of Milestone. My purpose in comics to elevate all of the voices of the
Hmm.
other and to make sure that everyone gets to tell the stories of heroes, right? It's like
Yes.
that came from Milestone. So it truly is a full circle to be able to come back and tell this grand heroic story. Because, to keep it to you real, like I want us to have our kingdom come.
Yes. Yes.
This is this, me and the team, because listen, the team is doing the heavy lifting. Daryl Banks and Adagoon Ilhan are the artists. Chris Sotomayor on
Colors.
colors and World Design on letters. You just showed the covers, right? You got Dennis Cowan, you got
Hmm.
Nicholas Draper Ivy. They're doing the heavy lifting. I'm providing the nucleus, but what we all want to do is like tell a story for the ages.
Hmm.
That like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you can read it and be like, you know what? That's a good story.
That's a good story, and it get changed with it's timeless, a timeless story.
100%. And it can be done. So that's
Yes.
what we're doing. And I've already written all 4 issues. Now that
Yeah.
doesn't mean my job is done because the art comes in and then you get to make little tweaks to your scripts or something like
Hmm.
that. But yeah, like it's pretty amazing.
Hmm. So as we go through this issue, I know you talked about this issue a million times, so I kind of want to
That's
skim over
fine.
it.
Making a million and one. I don't
Yeah,
care.
a million times. I kind of want to ask you about some things.
Yeah.
Um, with Angela Alva, because I'm pretty sure this
Mm-hmm.
is the original character, if I guess, for this new 21st century milestone.
Yes.
Um, going when they first pitched you the book, or did you pitch it to
Yeah.
them? They pitched you the book?
I actually pitched it to them. Like,
Okay.
I've been following the Milestone book since the relaunch, and I was like, I think I have a story to tell they haven't told yet. Let me reach out to Reginald Hudlin and Dennis Cowan,
Hmm.
who are the producers. And, Dennis has been a mentor of mine from Milestone One.
Hmm.
Reggie is a mentor to me in the 21st century. So I was like, let me see. Right. And
Hmm.
then, like, the conversations begin. And listen, it's not instant. Like, it took a while to get here. And then, the DC people came
Yes.
in, the editor, Marquise Draper, who's great, executive editor, Chris Conroy.
Yeah.
And then one day we just had the big Zoom call. I think it was like February of last year. So almost a year ago, we had a big Zoom call and we were like, okay, what does this have to be for Milestone and all that? We were like, okay, this has to be Avengers Endgame. Everything comes together to this, right? So I
Yes.
was like, okay, cool. Went away 2 weeks later, came back 21-page pitch,
Hmm. That's
and I was like, I think this is it, right? And Angela Alva was part of the key to that,
mhm.
right? It was like, because you got Rocket over here and she's on her journey, and you got Angela and she's on a parallel journey. And there's something in writing called the unity of opposites. Now, that's not exactly what's happening here, but the unity of opposites is when you put two people from two totally different walks of life together and you kind of make them partner up, right? The
Mhm.
X Files is the unity of opposites. To some degree, Rocket and Hardware are now the unity of opposites. But in
Mhm.
a way, Rocket and Angela are the opposites, right? Rocket is this 17-year-old girl who's on a very particular journey, and Angela's like this 64-year-old woman
Yes.
who's on a particular journey, and they're gonna and the journeys are gonna come together. And so yeah, it's like I love both of those characters, and it was really important that, listen,
Yeah.
right? Like how many comic books come out a month? I don't even know. What is it, like 1,000?
There's so
And it's
many. I
like,
tell you
do
what, my pull list is big. I get a lot.
you understand what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
my
I get a
pull
lot.
list keeps growing, right? And so the thing is, like, keeping it real. Comic books ain't cheap. It's
Mhm.
like, and when you write these things, you gotta get people in early, and then when it's over, you gotta make them angry that it's over. Like, yo, I want more. Let's go. I want those 4 weeks to disappear so I can see what happens next. So it's like, okay, opening with Angela Alva was like,
Yes.
okay, who the hell is that?
Yes. Mhm.
And what does she want? And I recognize that last name, so I know she's important, but who the hell is that, right? And so that was the thing. I really wanted us to hit the ground running and then take you right there into like Rocket. So yeah, like it's funny. Like you said, Angela's new, but I love her to bits. I love writing Angela Alva. It's crazy because these characters come
Mhm.
to life for me, right? Like
Yes.
they live and breathe. And sometimes as you're writing the story, your original plan was for them to go left, but they end up going right. Like
Mhm.
they're like, no, 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 that's not what I would do. I
Mhm.
would do this.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, cool, let's go.
But no, like you said, when you said you hit the ground running, I think yeah, the story was really good pace. We got straight to the point. You basically set the scene. Icon's not here anymore. He's in space. He's somewhere. Hardware is now Alpha 2.0 for Rocket.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Rocket is fighting tooth and nail just to keep the world, just to have some semblance of hope. We don't know where the rest of the heroes are. The world's in kind of a disarray with the since Brainiac, the alien invasion.
Yep.
You set the scene. You set the scene. You did everything a first issue should do. I
Thank
think
you.
personally. Like
Thank
I
you.
said, it was really good paced. Good action, art, like Chef's Kiss. Daryl Banks,
Listen,
Abigail Elham,
listen.
Chris
I am
Tomato.
I am
There.
I am so blessed. I
Mhm.
am so blessed. And you talked about, how comics can make your day better when you're having a bad day. That's how it is when you're a writer and you open your email and there's like new pages.
Mhm.
You're just like, oh man.
Yeah.
You just feel grateful, you know what I mean? So I
Yes.
feel grateful for the team,
Mhm.
that's putting this together with me. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yes. So yeah, so you got us in early, and I was definitely angry at the end of the issue when Sanction showed up, and he says, and it said when he takes out the Blood Syndicate, and I said that's the end. I said I need to see it now. I said I want this to be weekly, but I know it can't. I know how the process goes into it, but man, I was
Yep.
mad. And then
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad it makes you want to come back. And yeah, Sanction's gonna mix it up with the Blood Syndicate, man.
yeah, so
And
I
it's mean. It's
uh-huh.
mean. You know what I
I'm
mean?
dying to see it come out this next week.
Yeah.
Um, Also, we in the Black Comes Lord's interview, we were talking about the Sanction, and said he was a character prior. I was like, who was he? Because, and then you reminded me. he used to wear an eye patch, and then I went back, and then I pulled out the issue,
Yes.
issue 25, hardware
That's what I'm
25.
talking about.
Yes,
Yes.
and then I was like, okay, so now I know who he is. I forgot.
Yep.
So yeah, Sanction, um, this guy right here.
Yes.
Also, this is the you do homage to this cover in issue
Yes.
3.
Yes,
Um,
we did.
so yes, this is Sanction. I was like, oh, that makes sense. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, you reminded me. So I'm even more excited now and fiending for that next issue.
That's what's
Um,
up. And wow, it's just great to see Hardware 25. That's
yes,
a that's a comic book, man. But
this was
yeah,
so good. Like when I was reading, so quick little backstory. How I got into reading comics like all the time,
yeah,
was technically when Monster did a big relaunch and they announced the Static series.
yeah,
I was scrolling Instagram. I got Nicholas Jeffrey Ivory got on my feed. And I saw his designs for it. He says new Static issue coming out. So I was like, Static has a comic book. I was like, I don't really read comic books, but I like comic book characters. I watch all the superhero shows, Just League Unlimited, Static Shock, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Doesn't matter.
yeah,
And so I was just looking on Blurred Without Fear. Shout out to him. He's a great comic book creator, YouTuber. Blurred Without Fear. He
yeah.
has a
Cool
bunch
dude.
of he's a whole catalog of all like the characters in depth. And I went in there. I was like, "Bro, this Milestone universe seems." I should learn my Milestone through that. And then I started reading like on read comic online. Guys, don't do that. You should buy your books. But so I was reading comic online. I was like, "This is amazing. This is great." So then I started buying the books. So now I'm trying to collect all the single issues for Milestone,
Ooh.
which is
Well, you're
I have a
in
steep. I know it's
for
steep. It's steep.
you're in for a
I'm pretty
wild
close though,
ride.
actually. I'm also collecting the compendium because I'm a true Milestone fan. Okay.
Listen,
Yes,
right there,
yeah.
there are mine. You
So
know.
I have currently all the hardware.
Oh,
I have all the
awesome.
icon. I need three or
Yeah.
four issues for static. I
Okay.
have all of Shadow Cabinet.
Wow.
I need two issues for zombie. I have all of Cobalt. I have the Long Hot Summer. I
That's
need
impressive. Ooh, long hot summer.
Yes,
That's
I
really
I haven't
impressive.
got to that part yet. Long Hot Summer,
Okay.
but I'm pretty far.
Okay.
I have all of. I need one issue of Heroes. Heroes. Let me tell you about Heroes. And now I'm sorry. We'll get back to the interview. I'm sorry,
That's
but
fine. That's fine.
yes, but Heroes. By Chris Cross, great artist by the way.
Oof. Yeah.
But Heroes. I was like on eBay. There's like a 6 issue set going for like $60. I almost bought it. I almost bought it. I was like, I was a true fan, but we went to Oklahoma. Went to a Comic-Con in Oklahoma. Because Dennis Cowan was there at GalaxyCon. I met him. He's a
Yeah.
great guy. And my friend was like, "Let's stop in this comic store real quick." I went in there. I found the first uh 4 issue. I think is it a 5 issue miniseries or 6 issue miniseries?
Six.
Six. Okay, yeah. So I found the first 5 issues for $3 each.
Look at
So
that.
I've learned to be patient now. So
That's right. That's right. You got a window shop.
yeah, yeah. I gotta witness. You gotta be out there, get out and about. Comic. Anybody collecting comics, you have to get outside the house. You have to.
That's a
Just
fact. That's a
you
fact.
have to get outside the house. But yeah, that's my milestone journey that I'm on right now. But
Oof.
back
That's
to
awesome.
milestone. I'll run off a little tangent.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, the voices you have are all these characters between Rocket, Hardware, Angela Alva, this new character, Tiffany Evans. She was really good. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see her part to play in this going down farther down the line.
Very important.
Maybe we can see her become Technique, or maybe she has a new suit, or maybe she's not doing that at all. Maybe we're looking for a curveball. Who knows?
Keep your
Um,
eyes on Tiffany.
yes, I definitely will. Sanction. Anansi though, he was I wouldn't say the standout for me because I love Rock. Rock is probably my favorite character in this book. But Anansi was kind of the standout with like, oh wait, Nancy's here, and I really loved how you're like doing him. He's like saying I have to tell the tales for the children.
Yeah.
Let's make this an interesting story. I was like,
Yeah.
like you said, he's like a mystical Spider-Man. And I really enjoyed his character. Also, Kahina, Iron Butterfly. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see more of her story and going forth. And
Well,
then
you know
Doc.
what? Do you know? Have you read Blood Syndicate season one yet?
Oh yeah, I read all the new Monster.
Okay, so you know
Yes.
that's
Yeah, I know a little bit.
bingo.
Yeah. She,
Yes.
her and my son had a talk. I want everybody, I want to encourage everybody to read all the Milestone, uh, new books, the rebooted books. We won't talk too much about them, but y'all should read them because I want to spoil anything for y'all.
Yep.
Blood Syndicate. I think, what are some of your favorite books out of the new rebooted Milestone series?
Wow. You know, Hardware season one
Brandon by
is
Brandon Thomas.
really
Yes.
so good. So
Mhm.
Brandon is a friend.
Yes.
but he's one of my favorite writers, and I think he's one of the best writers in comics
He's
right now.
doing, and he's right. The new Black Lightning that came out was good.
Listen, which is on my poll list, right? We
Oh,
talked about poll list.
definitely on
I'm
mine.
picking up my Black Lightning 2 tomorrow. So hardware really landed for me. So that was one of my favorites. And you know, Icon and Rocket season one, you know what's so wild about it to me is that
Hmm.
they just went for it. Like they were like, we're gonna end the drug trade. We're gonna end the
Yeah,
illegal gun trade.
they
Like
were
they
they were
did the things that
yes.
you wanted to see the Justice League do, that you wanted to see the Avengers do.
Uh-huh.
Like they just took a stab at it. And I was just like, wow, that's ballsy. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I'm in this.
they were balls to the wall in that series. Like literally, like I said, Rocket, like what I say, Rocket is in the story of Icon and Rocket or Icon. Icon is a hero, and I love Icon. I love his character. Rocket is kind of the true hero in the book because Icon wouldn't be Icon without Raquel or him.
Understand? That's
Yes,
it. That's it. And but when it came to art, like I honestly feel like none of the titles compared to Static Shadows of Dakota,
yes,
right? The
that's my
Static
favorite one.
season one, that
Yes,
was kind of like, Nick starting,
yes.
but Seasons of Dakota with Ebon, come on,
Man,
man.
with Vida Ayala, Nick Drip Ivy, like I
Listen,
say, I already told you he's my favorite artist.
you
Yes,
could take that entire book and just like put all the pages up on your wall,
yes.
right? And create some black light effect with all those Ebon pages and whatnot.
The Ebon, I think they got his voice just right. Like I literally, if you know Static Shock Show, I'm hearing the dude's voice in my head reading that book.
100%.
It's amazing.
100%, dude.
There's an issue. It's the second issue six, the second to last issue, where Static's kind of like fighting Ebon, and before they like team up for the last issue. And Wade, like Nick Ivy draws him, and like it's just it's bar none. Like it's bar none.
That's what I'm saying.
He's just great. He's
That's what I'm saying. And like it was just really, it's funny that you say you could hear Ebon's voice from the cartoon. That's what I wanted to achieve with Anansi. I wanted
yeah.
you to hear
I
that
did.
voice,
Oh, I
that
did.
accent when he talked. And so yeah, that really inspired me while I was writing him too. And and like we're
Mhm.
saying, like he's a mystical kind of Spider-Man. He's
Mhm.
a spider hero. So Iron Butterfly is so serious. Dharma is Dharma. So I'm
He
like,
sees all the
someone from
possible
this shit.
futures.
Right.
He doesn't have time to be playing around. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm like, someone from Shadow Cabinet's got to be
Yeah.
fun. So I'm like, okay, it's gonna be this dude. And when they have like the auction and everyone's like talking about big money, and he's like, yeah, $5 American.
Making dollars. That was hilarious. That was actually really fun. I was like, because I love the way you went with the Nazi for this. I really do. And I can't. And what you really did was made me want to see a Nazi more and more. That's what you just a Nazi. I was like, I gotta see more of a Nazi. And
Thank
I
you.
have to see more of him. I want to see Blood Syndicate though in the next issue because at the last page it left me want it because I need to see the next. But a Nazi, I need to see more of him. And I
Yeah,
hope,
you
yeah,
will.
yes,
You're gonna see a little more of him. But the next issue is really gonna focus on Blood Syndicate and Static, and you're gonna
okay.
find out where they are in this new world now.
Uh-huh. So like I
Yeah,
said, with this next issue, like I said, I'm fiending for it. I need this. Like I said, I want everybody to go buy all these books. It is very imperative you do this. The first issue I bought, once again, every single cover. Bought one for my friend. I'm telling everybody to buy the book. Like I
that's
need,
awesome.
yes, issue two. I'll do the same. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
like
And listen, thank you because you were one of the first people out there like talking about the book and being
yeah,
excited about the book. And I was like,
because
oh
Milestone, like I said,
man,
Milestone was my like when I was a kid, when like Scholastic Book Fair happened, I'd get the comics. But Milestone made me in love with the medium and like learning
yeah,
about the writers and the artists and the inkers and the colors. Maybe like really get down to the nitty gritty of comic books, as you could say.
yeah,
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 it made
one
me
hundred
really like it.
percent.
Uh-huh. Because
There's nothing like it.
yeah, like Milestone, like I said, for the 90s was obviously ahead of its time. Definitely. Like I said, a lot of stuff people do now or have done, Milestone did first. Um, like it's just ahead of its time, and it speaks to me. Like it's like the Milestone speaks to me in a way that it can't speak to like some other people. Um, it's good. Like I say, like Static is the most relatable character to me, like ever, for me
That's a
personally.
fact. That's
Uh-huh.
a fact. Like
So
he's as real as it gets.
yeah, so Milestone, I want Milestone. I wish them best success. I'll keep buying the books always. And I'll make sure
Thank you.
I'll force feed them to my friends what they want to
All
read.
right, all right. I do some of the same. I've given people a few copies or tell them, hey, get this, get
Yeah,
that one, because that's it. It's like, listen, you want to see more of something, you gotta buy it.
yeah.
You
Like I
gotta
said,
buy it so you can show the publishers, hey, people want this. Let's give them more, or let's think seriously about that. You know what I
yes.
mean?
So I hope issue 2 sells out, issue 3 sells out, issue 4 sells out. I'll be contributing to that success.
I appreciate it. I
Yes.
appreciate it. And listen,
Yes.
we're bringing the flames for you. I promise.
Yes, you
It's just
definitely
gonna
will.
keep going up, and then it's gonna build, and then that last issue is gonna be nuts.
Yeah, I saw the cover for the last issue. Um,
Yeah. Right. Uh huh.
it's made me
Yeah.
the first issue. It made me kind of know where we're going, but I have no clue where we're going to end up. Like I have, like I know what road we're on, but I don't know where we're going. Like the destination.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. And listen, that's part of the fun, right? Because if you know how it's gonna end, like if it's telegraphed like that, it's like, well, why am I here?
Yes.
Right? We're here because we want to be surprised.
Hmm.
Like we want to know enough so we can feel like, oh, okay, I can kind of see, but no one wants to know the ending, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so there's some surprises coming along, and you saw the cover for issue 3, which is that homage. So that's the origin of the Alvas.
Yes.
Pretty important. So like every issue has like stuff that's really important. So no one feels like, okay, why do I need to be here? It's like you need to be here for every issue.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Um, like I said, like the issue is really good. Anything I could, I also wanted to, this is what I wanted to ask you, the question I wanted to ask you, because you were
Yeah,
there from the beginning of Milestone and stuff.
yeah.
Is there anything in the 21st century Milestone that you think they improved on or you like more than the original?
Wow, that's a great question. I wouldn't well, this is what I would say. I like the fact that in the 21st century, the comic book is called Icon and Rocket.
Hmm.
I did like that title change very much.
Yes.
Um, and to me, it's not like one is better than the other. And the reason I
Yeah.
say that is because you can't compare anything to the original Milestone.
Yes.
That is such a unique moment in time and unique creation. Nothing compares to that. But I feel like this Milestone is talking to this time in our world.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It's like the Static from before, was more of a, kind of like humorous comic. There was, of
Yes.
course, serious stuff happening, but like this Static, it needs that Static Ebon story. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we need that because Ebon is kind of like Killmonger from the Black Panther
Yeah.
film, where it's kind of like I kind of understand where dude's coming from. You know what
Uh-huh.
I mean? And
Uh-huh.
we need to have these philosophical conversations in the comics. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I feel like this is the milestone for this time, right? And that's it. And, I'm so glad it's back. I'm so honored to be a part of it. And this story that we've crafted is acknowledging all of the stories, right? So
Uh-huh.
if you're new to this, you can dive in, but if you've been reading that stuff, there are payoffs. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like
Uh-huh.
this, like think of it as one long 4-year story, and
Yes.
this is the final act in a way,
The
right?
culmination. Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. And then what's going to happen is some doors are going to close, new ones are going to open up, right? And
Yes.
let's see what comes next. But I promise you, new ones will open up, and the future of Milestone will look very exciting to you.
I'm literally so excited. When you were on Facebook and stuff, like, I follow you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything.
Yeah.
When you're on Facebook, like hyping it up, and you're like, this the culmination, this, and this. I was like, man, he is getting. I'm not gonna lie. For a second, I was like, is he gonna reach the expectation? It did. It did.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it it
I
did.
know it's
And
tough, right? Because I was
yeah,
really hyping it up, and
you're hyping up.
it's wild. I
You're
was
posting like almost every day. You're like, this is the kingdom come. This is the culmination. This is. And I was like, oh, we'll see. We'll see.
right.
I was cautiously optimistic. That's what I said.
That listen, that's fair. That's fair. And there was this part where I was saying, "This mattered. Were you here
Yes.
for this? Well, that mattered. Were you here
Yeah.
for this?
Harvard
Well,
season
this
one.
moment
Let's see.
mattered."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's wild because I'll be honest with you. Um, a really well-known writer I know, I'm not going to blow up his spot and named him, but he said to me like, you don't hit your groove until the third issue, right?
Yes.
Now I'm proud of all of the issues, but issue 3, like, that really answers a lot of questions, and it starts really putting, like, setting things up for the big finale. And it may make you rethink whatever you think of Angela Alva now. But again, I'm so honored to do this.
Hmm.
Like, as a writer now, because I've been an editor for almost all of my career, which goes back to the early 90s. Like, this is my time to be a writer, and to start that journey here, like, I'm just thrilled. And then, next is Todd McFarlane's Spawn universe.
Yes. So we can good segue. We'll go into that now.
Yeah,
So Spawn, I don't have too much background about it, but I did want to ask you about it.
yeah.
So Spawn, the only Spawn I've really read was Todd McFarlane's kind of first series. A
Mm-hmm.
little bit of that.
Yeah,
Art was great. Art was great, of
of
course.
course.
Yes. So just tell us a little bit about your Spawn and everything.
Yeah, so basically, the early Spawn stories, like that first year, I mean, those are just crazy comics. But
Mhm.
Spawn was an ex-CIA agent
Yes.
who got set up and killed. He goes to hell, and basically it's like he doesn't he wants to be with his wife. He wants to come back.
Yes.
And like, this being called the Malabolgi is like, okay, I'm going to send you back there, and you're going to have time. But when that time is up, you work for me,
Mhm.
right? Because you're one of the Legion of Hellspawn. And so it's kind of like this horror superhero story with this tragic thing about this guy that just wants to make sure his
Mhm.
wife is okay and see her one more time. But he's got to fight all these demonic forces and
Yeah.
angels, like Spawn is bananas, right? And so the new series that I'm co-writing with Tim Seeley is called Bloodletter. And basically what it's about is back when Spawn was a CIA guy, and he was a real badass, and he was not a good guy. He burned another agent,
Mhm.
right? That agent, whose name is Tasha Thornwall, it's 10 years later, and now she wants her revenge, right?
Mhm.
Because she thought dude was dead. Like, she knew there was a Spawn, but she didn't know Spawn was that guy.
Yeah.
But then one day she's like in South America or something on some mission, because she's been living underground learning magic and stuff. And then she sees on TV, dude reveals his identity to the world. And she's like, wipes the itinerary clean. She's like, any plans I had, they're gone. There is only one plan now, and that's to kill his ass. And so she is on a revenge mission, and that's it, man. It's like, kill Spawn. And we're gonna see a bit of the secret history of the Spawn universe, kind of like how the Winter Soldier in the MCU can basically show you the secret history
Yeah.
of the 20th century of the Marvel universe. So she's going to show us the secret history of the Spawn universe, because she was there in the shadows. She was
Yeah.
there in the corners. And we're going to see how far revenge takes you and what happens after revenge. You know what I
So
mean?
so it will be following her perspective in the book.
Yeah, yeah. The story is basically her point of view. She has a partner, she has a sidekick who you're going to meet. in the first issue, but it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like Punisher War Journal, right?
Yeah.
So it's like she's got her narration too. She's on a mission and all that stuff, and the mission is to kill Spawn, and that's a mission in stages, right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So it's kind of interesting how, with Shadow Cabinet and with Bloodletter, both have these sisters, and both of them are kind of like the points of view, and they both have very serious missions. And I think that's important. Like in writing, number one, you got to have a character that you can identify with, that you care about, right?
Yes.
And number two, you got to know what you're writing about,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like really, you got to know what the theme of the story is, because there's some stories out there, I don't know if they got any themes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Some you could tell, be like, oh, this person knows what they're writing about. Some it could be all over the place, and I'm like, no, like this has to be really clear and emotional. You know what I mean? So it's emotional for Tasha, just like it's emotional for Rocket, but they have two totally different points of view. And again, it goes down to the journey. So, we want people to go on a journey with both of these characters. So yeah, so it's funny. Shadow Cabinet ends in February,
Yes.
and then Bloodletter starts in April.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll definitely be picking that up. Like I said, I haven't
Thank you.
read too much Spawn, but knowing your name's on it, I think we're in good hands.
I
Um,
appreciate it. Thank you so much. And you're gonna love the art, man. The
who does
art.
the art?
So the artist is named Christian Rosado, and
Okay.
the colorist is DC Alonso. And it's just like, whoa,
I'll look them
like
up
it,
after this for sure. And
yeah, you could like check my Instagram. I posted some stuff from them, but it feels like a horror comic book, right?
uh-huh.
Which is the thing, right? Like you in Spawn's world, demons and angels and stuff.
Yes.
It's got to feel like a scary place. So it has a totally different kind of feel from like the Milestone universe. You know what I mean?
Is it a limited series or is it ongoing?
No, Bloodletter's on and on.
Okay.
It's on and on. And, of course, with that, it's like, okay, right, we got to keep up in the ante and up in the ante. But, that's part of the fun. And at the very least now, we kind of have the first year and a half.
Yes.
Tim and I, we kind of have the first year and a half figured out of, what Tasha's going to be doing. But there's a very big story with Tasha that I hope we get to tell.
That is dope. I'm really excited for Spawn,
It's
for
yeah,
the Shadow Cabinet, the Shadow Cabinet Milestone's future. Um, you got me excited. You got me excited. I got it. I need Shadow Cabinet now. Luckily, it's next week, so maybe I can hold on just a little bit longer.
that's right.
Um,
That's right. It'll be worth it.
I trust me. I know. Um, well, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks so much for coming on the show, being my first person I ever interview on this
You're
channel.
welcome. I am honored. I look forward to who follows afterwards. And listen, thank you for your early support. You were a beacon out there, and listen, we appreciate it. It's good. It's good to know that people are keeping their eyes open, and they want more of
Uh-huh.
this. And so, thank you.
No problem. Make sure everybody go buy the Shadow Cabinet, Milestone Universe Shadow Cabinet issue 2, pre-order. Pre-order's gone, so pre-order is issue 3. But buy
Yep,
issue 2
you can
when it's
pre-order three
available.
and four.
3 and 4. And then ask for some more issues, issue 2. Ask for more issues, just for the hell of it. Why not?
That's it. That's
Um,
it. No problem with that.
yeah, issue also in April. Make sure you get Spawn, Bloodletter. We'll definitely be looking forward to the your future writing career, Mr. Illidge.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
anything you want to say? Anything else you want to say?
No, just, listen, thank you to everyone who took a chance on the first issue. Thank you to all the readers. We love readers.
Yes.
And you can find me on any of the socials whenever you want to discuss this. I'm on Facebook as Joe Illidge. I'm on X as Joseph P. Illidge. I'm on Bluesky as Joseph Illidge. I'm on Instagram as Illmaster1. I'm on TikTok as Joseph Illidge. So find me at any of those spots, and would love to know what you think.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a great night and make sure you cop those books.
All right. Have a good night.
Whoa, bitch, I did it and they didn't know how. I turned into the one that they betting on now. Had to hit the body, can't let it grow out. Fuck being humble, gotta show out. Won't silence us. Ones that hate and say they proud of us. I was down, but then I powered up. All they ever show is